Welcome to the Happier Life Project, the official podcast from the award-winning mental health and wellness app, My Possible Self. Hosted by broadcaster and journalist Gabby Sanderson.
Hello, I'm Gabby and welcome back to the Happier Life Project, the podcast where we explore what it truly means to live well, feel well, and create a happier, healthier life. And welcome to the very first episode of our brand new series. And it's a little bit different from the usual apps. I'm currently speaking to you from India, and this episode is especially close to my heart. For the month of February, I was volunteering as a children's yoga and mindfulness teacher at the Dau Dayal School for girls in Firozabad. This is a very rural area, only 50 minutes from the Taj Mahal in Agra, and it has been one of the most fulfilling, challenging, demanding and truly life-changing experiences I've ever had. What you're about to hear are some of the stories that have moved me deeply. Stories of resilience, hope and inspiration. I really encourage you to stay with me on this episode because these voices carry such important lessons and perspectives that I believe will stay with you too long after the episode ends. The Dau Dayal English Medium School supports girls from incredibly challenging backgrounds, offering them free education, care and opportunity. During my time there, living on campus, I was teaching yoga and mindfulness 6 days a week alongside fellow kids yoga teacher Mimi Sinfield. Together, we had the privilege of working with some extraordinary young girls. Girls who, despite the adversity many of them face, show an incredible capacity for joy, curiosity, resilience, hope, and love. This experience was a powerful reminder that happiness isn't about perfect circumstances. It's about connection, compassion, community, and those small moments that help us feel seen and supported. Spending time with these beautiful girls and all the staff at the school really opened my eyes to a reality very different from the one many of us grow up with. Most children in Firozabad live with their entire families in a single room. Even something as small as head lice means forcing the girls to have their heads shaved. And heartbreakingly, some children arrive at school with visible bruises from being beaten at home. This is a place where discipline is still shown by physical force, and these are tough realities for many of the girls growing up here. Yet, what stayed with me the most wasn't the hardship, it was their resilience. The girls' laughter, their curiosity, their openness, and the joy they carried into every single yoga and mindfulness session. Watching them move, breathe, play, and realise they are worthy of love, kindness, support, opportunity, and to simply be children was incredibly powerful. It reminded me how much strength, hope, and possibility can exist even in the most difficult circumstances. And it made me realise how often in the Western world we take so much for granted. Life can be tough, yes, but sometimes we whinge and complain about things that, in perspective, are so small and trivial. In this episode, you'll hear from Mala Rastogi, the inspiring president whose family founded the Dau Dayal School. Mala shares the vision behind it and the profound impact it has had on the lives of these girls. You'll also hear from Mimi Sinfield, who joined me on this journey, reflecting on what it's been like to teach yoga and mindfulness here and the lessons we've both taken away. And woven throughout, you'll hear some of the voices of the beautiful girls themselves, their laughter, their reflections, and the gorgeous energy they carried into every single class. This episode is about resilience, about the power of education and community, and about the simple practices like breathing, movement, and connection that can nurture well-being wherever we are in the world. So I invite you to join me on this journey from the yoga mats of Firozabad near Agra all the way to the foothills of the Himalayas in Rishikesh. And to begin, let's start right where it all unfolded, inside the school itself, with Mala.
I am learning yoga at school. I am strong. Yoga makes me strong.
Yoga makes me strong.
Strong inside and outside.
Strong inside and outside.
Okay, so the Dau Dayal School in Firozabad, which is a very small town near Agra in India, was set up by my grandfather as a Bal Mandir. Bal stands for child and Mandir stands for temple. So it was a children's temple. It was set up under a tree because there was no building at that time, so that children could just sit there. By children, I mean girls, could just sit there and learn a little bit. He did this from a personal need because he had 3 granddaughters and there was nowhere safe for them to go and study in Firozabad. So he thought we may as well set up our own. And that's how this story started. Fast forward it grew into a proper full-fledged school from kindergarten to 12th grade. And then, as I'm told, because a lot of it is just anecdotal stuff which I hear when I roam around in Firozabad, parents came and said, now our girls are educated till 12th. What do we do with them? Should we get them married or should they continue with bangle work? Firozabad being a bangle city, where every household, every person in the family, regardless of their age, does a bit of bangle work. So then, in their wisdom, they started, my father then stepped in and started a college, an undergraduate college, which then became a master's college, postgrad college, and then they added some other courses, BCom, BBA. Then the story goes that parents still came and said now they've received this education, college education, but they're not professionally trained. They're not going to get a job in Firozabad because there aren't any jobs. So the safest job for a girl in Firozabad at that time was considered teacher, being a teacher, because she could be with her family and she could spend a few hours teaching and it was safe and respectable. So I think in 1996 or 7, he put up a teachers training institute so that girls would get educated, then get trained, get a professional qualification, and then get some job. That's the work they did. And by the time I come into the picture, is 2020. My father passed away. He was 90 years old, but he was still, managing this whole thing. And since then, since 2020, I have been looking at the things and seeing what else we can do. And we have almost 3,500 girls studying in our various institutions. From the very, very poorest of the poor background, you can say the last level or layer of society. Daily wage earners, rickshaw pullers, bangle workers, labourers.
If we could go back to the alternative, if girls don't come to the school, like you said, Firozabad is known as the city of glass. The main occupation is bangle work. It was you that was telling me that the loophole is that children can't work in factories, so they are working at home, and often parents are reluctant even to send them to get educated because that means they don't have their workers.
So at some point, the government stepped in and said, we will not allow child labor, because there was this whole thing about, you cannot have children working in factories. And the factories were full of heat and fumes because glass is made in a furnace. So these people got very clever, the bangle makers, and they pushed a part of the industry, glass making, into the homes of children and families, where they can make it without it coming under the government eye. Look, these families are so poor, they do need that job. We cannot take it away from them. It does provide daily wage, it does provide some work for them. And the girls started coming to school, but after doing bangle work at home. And I was very shocked about it as well, because 2 years back when I stood in one of the school campuses and I asked, how many of you do bangle work? And to my shock, every child, every girl had her hand up. Almost from like, I think 7 years old, they all do it. They all do it. And there's pride in it. It's not that they do it and they feel, why are we doing it? No, it's like an accepted thing that you're just doing it.
I am kind. I can say no. I am brave.
Having met the girls personally, teaching them yoga and mindfulness has been honestly the biggest privilege, I think, of my life, and so inspiring. And I think, if anything, they've taught me so much about mindfulness. They come in every day, they run into the yoga studio, they can't wait to play, they can't wait to get into their yoga. Today we actually tested some of the kids a little bit. We put them into groups and we said, okay, you teach us some of what you've learned. And they were coming up with flows, they knew the whole sun salutation aspect of yoga, which my yogis listening will know exactly what that is, and it's not easy, but they knew every move perfectly. I've seen their English come on lots from speaking English to me and Mimi, the other yoga teacher, and the yoga teachers before us. But like, what I've just been so blown away with is like how kind and caring and enthusiastic these girls are. And then you tell me these stories about like when they come home and they might be sharing a space with a very large family and they're all living in one room, and we went to do a home visit and saw firsthand how difficult it can be. But then when the girls are here, you really wouldn't know that they weren't just like any other kid all over the world.
Yep. So you said it was a privilege for you. I think it's a blessing for us that you people are here, that the yoga teachers are here from across the world. Because I remember I came back to Firozabad almost after 40 years of living abroad. And also prior to that, I had not visited Firozabad for such a long time because we were living in Delhi. And what shocked me was the level of poverty, of course. And I also thought, none of these girls, I just thought it's going to be so difficult for them to travel, go abroad, see the Western world or see the culture over there. And I then decided that I will try my best, make sure that I will get people from there to come here, share their life, share their culture, share their values, so that there is a kind of interaction and, like fusion. Mm-hmm. Everything is fusion. We say food is fusion, clothes is fusion. So why not culture is fusion? And it's so nice to see our teachers and our students being in the presence of the Western, let's say, mindset. It is different. It is much more, I shouldn't say it because, then I'll get called out for it. But, faith and religion has too much emphasis here in life. And I don't know, I just think of it personally. Maybe we need to have a little bit more of rationality and, scientific temperament, question everything and why, and children should be curious. My parents, my grandfather was very rational, religion is important, but it's not the way, now it's consuming everybody and taking over power in their life.
They were quite surprised when I told them I wasn't married.
Yeah, so culturally, for them to even understand that women just have a choice.
Yeah.
They have a choice. They don't need to get married.
Yeah.
You don't need to be pushed by just because your parents got married at such a young age and then produced like half a dozen. You don't have to do the same. Yeah. You can get married late and you can choose. I only want one. And I want a better quality life.
Absolutely.
Better education, better health, travel, and everything else. Yeah. So I'm so happy to have associated with Rainbow Kids Yoga and Yoga Without Borders, because we've had continuous people from different parts of the world. It really helps, just to be around you and in the campus, and for the children to see a different color of skin. Really,
we've had a lot of photos.
Yeah.
Not just the children, though. Yeah. Everywhere we go,
absolutely,
actually. Yeah. We're in a very rural area. It's
Yep.
closest to Agra in terms of that being the nearest big city. But again, firsthand, I've witnessed just going out a little bit, the pandemonium, just literally being in the car or the rickshaw. I said to Mimi, now I know how the Kardashians feel.
Mobbed.
Yeah, absolutely.
You became instant celebrities.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We didn't earn it though, we felt like. Doing the Strong Warriors.
Ma'am, I am miss you.
I will miss you. Oh, my precious babies. Oh, you with the beautiful eyes. Hello, gorgeous. I'm going to miss you all so much. So many hugs. Did you enjoy yoga?
Yes.
Yes. The boss,
I am
the boss.
favorite yoga.
Mwah.
I am favorite yoga.
Your favourite yoga? Aww. I mean, the legacy of your father is still very much talked about today. And I, again, firsthand see how much you are very much following in his footsteps, but also sort of making it your own with the setting up of the English medium school. And if you could tell our listeners about the next project to reach more girls.
So the thing in India is there are two systems of education which are there existing. There's a parallel system for the rich, which is in English medium, and there is a Hindi medium, which is unfortunately all the girls or the parents who do not have money send their children to. Now mostly they send their girls to Hindi medium, and the boys, if they have little money, they can afford, they'll send them to English medium. By choice, I believe that everyone will choose to have an English medium education because it just opens up more opportunity for you. You learn more, you speak more, you anyway speak Hindi. So we're not taking away from Hindi. We're just creating a bilingual space for these girls. Now, they don't have that choice. The parents don't have that choice unless English medium is given to them free, because they will just not be able to afford it in a private school. Yeah. All private schools are English medium. So if you've got 200 schools in Firozabad, 150 private schools are in English medium. People will pay fees. And the 50 government schools, which are free, are in Hindi medium. I mean, like, this is crazy in today's world. And because we have both in our portfolio, let's say, in our educational institutions, because first my father set up the English Hindi medium, I can personally see the difference in education in both. So my idea is to steer everything into English medium. I don't know if I'll be able to do it or the next gen will do it. But we've started a small section with, I think, 450 girls. We've set up our first free English medium school, also Dau Dayal, this year. And I think that will be my legacy. My father's footprint is very large. My grandfather's footprint is large. They lived here and they worked here. So mine will be this little new addition, this baby, which will carry these girls forward and hopefully create a better future for them.
I think you're not giving yourself enough credit there. I think it will be more than a little dent. What do you think is going to happen when these girls grow up? And I can see how many queens we've got in the class, you know, strong, confident, bit cheeky, sassy, curious, quick learners. So you've got this new generation of girls, and then the boys.
I know.
What's going?
Yeah, so there's going to be a mismatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know, some boys might be getting left behind in their families. But we are funded by Edu Girls from the US, and their funding is very strictly kept for girls. So therefore, our operational cost or part of it is met by them, and they feel that the girls should not get left out. I believe that if these girls who are really hardworking and who come from such disadvantaged backgrounds, I want to make them leaders. They need to just get into politics and create the change. Right now, they don't have that space. The space is all occupied by, families and politicians who are all from the same family. But if we give them confidence, leadership skills, public speaking skills, and an education, I'm sure some of them will come out top-notch politicians. I mean, that's my belief, that they will become politicians. And the political space here in India, in UP especially, where we come out, the girls have not yet taken it up seriously. Regarding the boys, India is a patriarchal society. Yeah. They will always get looked after.
Yeah.
So,
what was the thing you were telling me about the boys? They would get the priority to go to school if only one child gets the education, it goes to the boy?
Yeah, so India's parents are very focused on educating the male child. And if they have money, when they have money, they will first spend it on the boy and send the boy to a good English medium school. And the girls end up going to the Hindi medium government school. The parents' thinking is that the girl, I have to just get her married off. I don't want to spend on her education. She will get married off, she will go into another family. So my investment in her is just so that she gets married and she leaves. I mean, it's a pretty silly mindset. Seeing the number of women who are out there working now.
It reminds me of Jane Austen times.
Yeah, we are living in those 100 years behind. When I first came here and I looked at the society around me and I said, really, this is still going on here? Yeah. And I couldn't believe it. Yeah. Brothers are beating sisters for going out with boys. Girls and boys can't be seen together. There is no movie hall. There is no coffee shop. There is nothing here where girls and boys can hang out. There is nothing here. Go 3.5 hours away into Gurgaon or Delhi, and you've got the Western society there. Completely, you've seen.
Yeah, I've seen.
Boys, girls hanging shorts, living together. And you move 3.5 hours here. It's bizarre.
Yoga is nice.
Oh, you are very nice. I'm so glad you like the yoga. Oh, we did the love hearts. Everybody's hanging out of the school bus. Oh, I love you girls. They're doing the love hearts. Yeah. Here's some more.
I miss
So many hugs. I miss you too. Have you had anybody question you or challenge you because of what you're doing? I'm particularly thinking probably men. Have you had anybody give you any problems?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
I think my father's name carries a lot of weight.
Yes.
I think I'm protected in that way.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a big lineage of doing good in society.
Well, and it's not just about the fact that the girls get offered a place here, it's how you take care of them. You give them the school uniforms, they have like health insurance, they get fed, they get their books.
It's the whole package.
Yeah.
If you don't provide them with these things like a meal or transportation or uniform, they won't come to school. They don't have the money to, Problem is parents are still having 5 children, 6 children, 4 girls, 5 girls. So they just can't afford all these basic costs to schooling. We have to give it. It's part of our purpose. If we want them in the classroom, we have to create that safe space. We have to make it very easy for them to come. You've seen these 2 guard children who have started coming here in the morning. We have to drop them back. Otherwise, he'll just stop them from coming here. And you have to give them food. You make breakfast for them every morning.
Oh my gosh, we have fallen in love with 2 little girls that, belong to the guard here. And they first started off very timid and like shy. And then now they're banging on the door. We open them up every morning. They have eggs and toast. And
yesterday when they didn't see you, she's telling me that little one, all of 4 years old, that little girl, go and put some water on her face. Wake her up.
Because I was still in bed. I saw her the other day and she was really far away, like really, really far away. And when she saw me and she put her arms out and she ran all the way down and all the way to the house, like with her arms. It actually breaks my heart, the thought of leaving them.
That's the kind of bonds you form, because even the girls, you're here 1 month, but even I'm here for a few days. But they know you're here to do good for them. They can see that you come with a good heart. So they can sense that. It's not a place where we want anything from them. We just want to nurture them.
It really feels both ways though, because I feel the good hearts of everybody here, like the girls, the staff, the teachers, you, Rashni, like the whole, there's not one bad egg.
No. And if there is, then I make sure I throw them out.
We send them to the peacocks.
Yes.
What is this?
This is my microphone.
Hello.
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 Hello. Quick, the bus is going. Come on.
आपकी बात याद आई. Miss you.
Miss you too.
I miss you.
Bye, darling. Bye, darling. Love you. Love you. Yes, Queen. Queenie.
I miss you, man.
I miss you too.
I miss you, man.
I miss you too. Well, let's talk very quickly before we wrap things up about your rickshaw run.
Oh, yeah.
Because you are very passionately campaigning to raise more funds to be able to allow more children to come to school here. So let's talk quickly about that.
Right. So when we set up the school this in 2025, end of 2025, and we set up our own independent English medium school, we realized we needed space for it. We needed a separate building to put the school in. We have land. We have a half-constructed building, foundations, which from the time of my father. The problem is, how do I raise funds for completing this building? And I went to various people, and then they said, what are you doing about it? I said, I'm fundraising. Well, what are you doing? What's the challenge? What's your challenge? And I thought, I'm not swimming the English Channel. I'm not going to climb Mount Everest. My knees, I've gone beyond that. So what's the one challenge which everybody is scared of in India of doing? And auto rickshaw. Nobody will sit in it because it's one of the worstly balanced vehicles. You sit in it for 15 minutes and your bones are rattling and your back is in pain and everything. It's a pretty nasty, monstrous piece of vehicle. However, we decided, three friends, that we'll do this thing called rickshaw run, learn to drive it, and then drive it from Fort Kochi to Jaisalmer. Fort Kochi is in the south, and Jaisalmer is 3,000 kilometers away. So we decided we'd drive it there, and on the back of that, we'll fundraise. And that's exactly what happened when I told my friends and family, and they thought I was crazy, but they started coming home. They said, here's a check. So my sister gave me a check. My best friend gave me a check for 1 lakh. So I collected a lot of money, as you put in the chart, before we left. And then the thing was, it's not enough because we're putting a building up. We need a large amount of money. So when we rode, we had to connect it to the people in our wider fraternity. It was a community effort. So we would ride for 7 hours because the rickshaw only goes to 40 or 50 kilometer speed. Then in the evening, we would sit and work on a video, small, short, 2-minute video where we would show the highlights of our journey, the road bumps, the cows, the mud track, a little bit of disagreement between us in the team, blah, blah. And then we put some nice nostalgic Bollywood song in it to interest people, put some comedy factor in it. And that's what we did for 15 days. And people really found that very interesting. Yeah. And that's where first the core group gave, then the outer core group, then the wider circle, then the people who had said to me, no, we're not going to do it, they also gave. So we pretty much touched a big group of people through that.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, we'll put the link on how people can donate because, like you said, there's still more money that needs to be raised in order to build this school. I just really hope I get to come back one day, Mala.
You will, absolutely, you will.
I feel it too.
Yeah, so I can feel it that you will come back and the school will be ready because we are going to push it, and I hope to have it completed by January 2027. We've got a team in place and we've got some funds. We're going to start building soon.
Including a girl architect, I saw.
We have a girl architect from Firozabad. So my whole idea is to encourage girls and workers more from Firozabad rather than get them from Agra. Because Agra has enough employment. Firozabad is where it's all missing. So we're going to do that.
You're an absolute legend, Mala. I feel very lucky to have spent time with you.
No, you haven't spent time with my father. He was the legend.
Well, I feel him very much. I still feel his presence within this space.
Yeah, imagine buying all this land like 20 years ago when this was like wilderness. It was forest. Yeah. And we're sitting here in such tranquil space. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. He was a visionary, actually.
And, unfortunately, we don't have enough time to share more stories because there's been so many just in terms of what you and your father have done for specific people that are living here on campus and family members of come, it is very much like once you're in kind of association, shall we say.
Yeah, it is like you get adopted into this whole big family and it's a great space. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mala.
Thank you so much, Gabby. It's a pleasure to have you here and a pleasure to talk to you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Today we are here to say goodbye to our respected yoga teachers. They taught us not only yoga poses but also discipline and peace and healthy lifestyle. Because of them, we learn how to stay calm, focused, and fit. You are very sweet and kind. Thank you.
Gabby, briefly back with you. After hearing from Mala Rastogi, I wanted to bring in another perspective now, someone who experienced this journey alongside me. Mimi Sinfield was the other yoga teacher selected to partner with me for this placement in Firozabad. Mimi and I both trained as children's yoga teachers with Rainbow Kids Yoga. And together, we spent a month living and teaching yoga and mindfulness as part of Yoga Without Borders, a volunteer initiative by Rainbow Kids Yoga in partnership with Yoga Gives Back, a non-profit supporting women and children in India, and EDU Girls, which works to expand educational opportunities for girls living in poverty in India. After our placement, Mimi and I travelled to what is often referred to as the yoga capital of the world, Rishikesh. In the foothills of the Himalayas, I finally got to sit down and reflect with Mimi. And to be honest, I think we were both still kind of trying to piece together what the heck had happened over our time in Firozabad. But we're going to move there now. So from the dusty schoolyards of Firozabad to the sacred banks of the Ganges in Rishikesh. Here's my conversation with Mimi. Mimi, we made it out alive.
We did. We're here to tell the tale.
We are here to tell the tale.
Just about.
So we're here in Rishikesh after a month of being in Firozabad. And before we get into sharing your experience at the school, I mean, we were both in it together and it was quite literally life-changing. I'd love to go back to the beginning. What made you apply for this specific placement? And did you have any expectations before you arrived of like how our month would look?
If I'm being completely honest, I applied on such a whim. Not a whim as in I didn't want to do it, but I've always wanted to volunteer. I never thought about how I was going to do it or when. And then obviously I did my training a couple of years ago with Rainbow Kids Yoga, and it just popped up in my emails one day that they were looking for the volunteers. So I just thought, I do yoga, I look after kids, I do kids yoga, and I want to volunteer. I've always wanted to go to India, just apply and see what happens. So I applied, did the Zoom interview, and got the job, which I was really like, literally, where I'm quite an impulsive person anyway, I was just like, okay, so I'm going and that's that. Zero expectations, if I'm honest. Again, I'm not someone that thinks like that far ahead about things. I kind of just throw myself into things and see what happens. So yeah, zero expectation. I think I was so happy to be going with you because you had been to India. So that made me feel a bit more relaxed. You seemed very savvy about India. I definitely don't think I could have done it without you.
Would you still say that?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Obviously, when we connected, we got on so well. So I just felt better about it as time went on.
Well, we taught 6 days a week. I would say almost 100 children collectively.
Yeah.
Every single day. It was incredible, but also so exhausting.
Yeah, it really was knackering.
Yeah. But looking back on it now, and I know we're still both in this bubble of like, what the heck just happened? Like, we're still kind of collecting our thoughts because it was all, every day there was so much thrown at you. I mean, talk about being in the present, but like on reflection now, sat here together in Rishikesh, I know it's been less than a week since we left the school. What comes into your head?
I feel like that is such a hard question. I feel like it's all still such a blur, and I know this is going to sound like such a cop-out answer, but I honestly don't think until I'm back home for a couple of weeks and settled back in the UK that I'll really have a reflection on it, because it's so hard to have the reflection whilst we're still in India, and obviously it's just all so fresh in our minds. I just don't think I've processed it all properly. All I know is that it was an incredible experience. I think I did try whilst I was there to do some journaling on it, but obviously you know what it's like. We didn't really get much minutes peace for our own mindful practices. So that kind of went out the window. I'd like to look back on what I have written, and I definitely think when I'm home with a fresher mind from it, I'm sure I'll have so much more to say.
Yeah. Okay, if that's fair. Well, we fell in love with all of the girls, literally every single child in there. But I wonder if there was a particular kid whose journey or personality really is going to stay with you. I think I know the answer to this question, but go on.
I mean, apart from our little love bugs, obviously, that we looked after, Chan Chow and Chaya, there's definitely ones that like stood out for me in the class and that you'd gravitate towards too, and just their little cutie, beautiful munchkin faces. And there were a couple that it really just did something to my heart when I saw them, especially doing like the breathing exercises and just taking things like that seriously. I can't explain that feeling. It was just so good to see and just so endearing. And there's definitely a few that stand out for me that were like that, and just every single time just came and kind of gave it all they had and just wanted to get involved in everything. Yeah, I mean, they all did, didn't they? But yeah, you just have those few in your mind, don't you? Just from, I mean, we didn't know everyone's names because that would just be crazy, but I can picture them all in my mind. I can picture their faces. I know which ones like stood out for me, and that made my heart feel all fuzzy because they were just, you know, doing things in such an amazing way.
Yeah, and also, like, even though these poor girls come from the most awful backgrounds and circumstances, like, all kids are the same. So like we would have little affectionate nicknames for some of them, like Queenie, you know, the one that was the boss girl, or like Goody Two Shoes, the one that was like, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. You
had your like classic stereotype,
exactly,
from schools, which just shows that everyone's the same all over the world, and you'll have those stereotypes everywhere. Yeah, the little boss that just used to coordinate everyone and translate for us. We had a few little Queenies, didn't we? The Goody Two Shoes, ma'am, and like would be like, look at me, let me show you this, and was just so proud of themselves. So yeah, those ones stand out always.
Yeah, well, you mentioned very briefly about our two girls, Chanchal and Chaya, who people won't know who they are, but I think they'll be forever in our hearts. They are the daughters of the security guard, and it just as fate would have it, he happened to start bringing them to the school. They weren't enrolled in the school, so he would arrive on a bike at 6 a.m. with them, and they were literally at first just wandering the grounds. You know, what started off as like Mala giving them a couple of biscuits, and within a few days, by 7:30 every morning, they were banging on the doors. We'd make them breakfast. We fell in love with the personalities. We got them on the screen.
Yeah, gave them way too much screen time and way too much sugar before school. So basically doing everything parents shouldn't do before they send their kids off to school or daycare, but they deserved it. And actually, I think that time in the morning gave them some respite, didn't it? And actually to see them just behave like any other child that wants some chocolate and that wants to watch Barbie on Netflix or whatever it may be.
Hindi Barbie.
Hindi Barbie, of course, was amazing to see.
Yeah. And they learned the English word for chocolate very quickly, I noticed.
Yeah, and actually for have Chaya, the youngest one, after her breakfast, be like, chocolate, and like run into our room and help herself. Yeah. How can you say no to that? Like, just she can have all the chocolate in the world.
Yeah, and her sister has a problem with her hearing and quite deaf, I think, and she's the older one. And, you know, again, just Mala being amazing. Mala has sorted her out with a hearing aid, and the girls are enrolled in the school now, which means that they'll get health insurance, which means they get their meals provided, they'll get their books provided, and they've got this opportunity of a life they bloody well deserve because they are two of the most sweetest souls.
Yeah, that's just two stories of many, many of those girls.
Exactly. So on that, and being that this is the Happier Life project and we're part of a mental health and wellness app, I wonder, Mimi, like what these beautiful girls have taught you about mental health and happiness during your time at the school.
Do you know what? I feel like it's taught me that presence is everything, and that's actually what these girls live for. They are just there each day. They do what they need to do at home. They come into school and learn what they need to learn, be with their friends, have some playtime, come and do that yoga class. Like, it is literally just an hour by hour for them, and everything is in the present moment. And I really felt that in the classes. They came in, they wanted to do everything, apart from, you know, some things that might not have landed, or a bit of fun chitter chatter, or the older girls being a bit silly, but they wanted to do everything. They wanted to be a part of it. And all you could do in those moments was be present with those girls and give them your time and your all and your enthusiasm, and you actually did receive it back. They gave it back, and it was such an exchange, wasn't it? With everything, with happiness, joy, teaching each other. They taught me as well just the patience as well, because obviously it's hard. Like, where I come from, a background teaching kids in England, where obviously it's culturally different and you speak to kids differently, and so sometimes that English side of me would come out and, you know, be like, girls, listen. They definitely don't respond to that. So yeah, I think we all learned from each other, and they also just taught me, actually, I think in those classes, it taught me to just go with the flow and just enjoy the moment. There were so many times when we had to go with the flow, weren't there, and like improvise and just enjoy every second of it.
What was quite humbling for me was when we would do some like crafting moments, when we get the colouring pens out, you dish them out into the little groups or whatever. First of all, they were very good at sharing, but second of all, like if they had, say, two of the same colour, they'd say, miss, to like give it back, as in somebody else probably needs that. Yeah. Never in a million years would a kid do that back home.
No.
But it also just makes me think about, God, they're just satisfied with having enough.
Yeah, they're satisfied with having enough. And you had those ones that like wanted to help each other. You know, if sometimes we had a few old ones in the class and maybe they looked out for the littler ones. Yeah. There was definitely a lot of just taking care of each other. I mean, you obviously got the ones that were a bit rowdy with each other, weren't they? But yeah, a lot of the time, just everyone had each other's back, didn't they?
Yeah, they just seemed to be content with what they had.
Yeah. Gave up their yoga mats for us if we didn't have a yoga mat. Obviously, we said no, but they wanted to make us happy, didn't they?
They did. They really, really did. Yeah, it was definitely a mutual exchange there. If one of the girls could hear this conversation in 10 years' time from now, what would you want her to remember about herself?
Oh, that makes me so sad. I think I just want them to remember that they put themselves in those yoga lessons with their whole heart, and they really did just love every second of it. And as the weeks went on, we could see how far along they had come, not even just from our lessons, but from the previous teachers from the other months. So I just want them to know how much they had grown in such a short space of time, and how far they'd come even with things like their English, and just from taking in information. Like sometimes we would read some of the things they'd said, and I remember reading one of the kind of you know, when we did the mindful activities with them, and one of them wrote, today they choose to be extroverted. And I just want them to, remember those things and remember those affirmations and remember everything that they learned and what they can take with them forever.
Well, and finally, taking that thread and running with it, when you think about the last month and the girls that we met and all the staff as well, how has this experience changed you, and what do you want to take from it and carry into, let's say, the rest of your life, Mimi?
I think it was such a humbling experience. I'm going to be really honest. I think I will struggle in the UK when it comes to teaching kids yoga, because it is just a completely different ball game. Like we've said so many times just in this chat, like these girls have nothing and they just want to be there, and they can have such joy from not having much. And I think it has taught me pretty much exactly the same, even such small things like, you know, my expensive yoga mats, which I'm not going to lie, I love, and they're helpful for me because they're grippy and I slip, but they're bloody expensive. And that whole month we were on the dirtiest yoga mats, did not care, covered in dust all the time. You don't need a lot to just sit there and be present and come back to your breath and move your body a bit, and you can be in a crappy situation and have what's in you to make yourself feel that little bit better that day.
It really was a big slap in the face, I would say, or a big shake-up to us, and I'm sure to any other Westerners that will precede us and go and work at the school, that like we are so, I mean, God, the amount of guests, Mimi, I've had on this podcast where we talk about how like we're all susceptible to this media and social media and all these messages we have to get, that we need more, they have to achieve more, we have to have the fancy clothes, the house, and that's going to make us happy.
We don't need it. We literally just spent an hour with the girls and brought them happiness for that hour, and they've got nothing. And that was just from two crazy ladies coming in and jumping around with them for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, these are children that like live in a one-roomed house sometimes, with like a hole in the floor on one side of the room where you go to the bathroom. We did some home visits. I mean, some of the girls live under the bridges and stuff, and yet they come in bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Pristine uniform.
So happy to see you, want to give you the biggest hug and cuddles, telling you they love you. Yeah. There's no feeling like it. You can't walk through the school without getting given a hug. Yeah. It's just, it's been truly amazing. Nothing more humbling ever will I probably ever do like that again. And I do hope, because it's so easy to be in a situation and, you know, roll with it, and then when you come home kind of fall back into your old habits. So I really do hope that I take away everything that I'm saying, and I've learnt myself that I don't need all the things that I think I need, and I can just roll out, you know, a towel on the floor, and if I'm feeling a bit anxious or stressed that day, and have a few breaths and move my body a little bit. It doesn't have to be this hour-long fancy practice on a £150 mat. There's so much. That's not what yoga's about, and I think we've actually really experienced what true yoga is in this last month.
Absolutely. And a lot of it is about, I think, when going back to the happiness thing, 1,000% is like community spirit. And I've said this a few times now, that I'd not shared a room with anybody since I was a kid, and yet here we are. We'd only met via Zoom, like doing our lesson plan prep.
And now we've got attachment anxiety with each other.
No, literally. We've not had less than an hour apart from each other, I think, in the last almost 6 weeks. But it just goes to show, and it's like, you know, we had to get a bit used to the fact that people would barge into our bedroom, the guest house. But I think I'm actually going to really miss that.
100%. Now I'm like, if Gabby disappears, if like today she's got some work to do after this, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with myself, and I'm alone anymore. So we definitely, we've learned a lot with that as well. I think just going with the flow, isn't it? And having those people around you, and actually just embracing it. And that's easy for me to say now because I'm out of it, because I'm not going to lie, there were times when I was like, I just want to be alone outside and do my practice and not be disturbed. But actually looking back, all those people want to do is look after you, and they mean well, and they just want to make sure you're taken care of, and they've got their duty to fill in taking care of us as well. So coming and bringing us all their chais and food and inviting us to things, you know, we're so grateful for that, really, aren't we?
Absolutely. I'm very grateful for you, Mimi.
Grateful for you too, Gabs.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm going to miss you.
I miss you. Love you too.
I will miss you.
I will miss you.
Did you have a good time learning yoga with me and Mimi?
What?
Did you enjoy yoga with me and Mimi?
Yes, I enjoy the yoga.
Yeah. What was your favourite thing about yoga?
My favorite yoga, cobras.
Cobras.
Eagle.
Eagle, you love the eagle.
My favorite is elephant.
Elephant, it's all the animals.
Star.
All these poses.
My favorite is cobra.
Cobra, another cobra. You know my favourite? All of you. And Mimi, what's your favourite?
Teaching you girls and watching how strong and confident you've become.
Yeah, I second that. Okay, go to your exam. It's Gabby back with you again. Thank you so much, Mimi, for your time. And to you too, Mala. I really believe I've made 2 friends for life there. As this journey comes to an end, it's the girls themselves who will stay with me the most. Their laughter echoing across the playground, their curiosity in every yoga class, and their incredible strength in the face of challenges most of us will never experience. They remind me that resilience isn't something we're born with. It's something that grows through community, care, and the belief that every child deserves the chance to thrive. And that's exactly what the team behind the Dau Dayal English Medium School is working to build upon. With land already secured and the foundations in place, the next step is raising enough funds needed to complete a new school building. A space designed not just for learning, but for dreaming, confidence, and long-term opportunity. The school will provide free, high-quality English medium education alongside modern classrooms, access to technology and sports facilities, and essentials like meals, uniforms, and books, ensuring no child is excluded because of financial barriers. If you would like to support this project and help create opportunities for more girls like the ones you've heard in this episode, you can find more information and the link to contribute through the school's GoFundMe page, linked in this episode's show notes. Brick by brick, together we can help the Dau Dayal English Medium School build a brighter future for the next generation of beautiful girls. Please do support if you can, my friend. I've been Gabby. This has been the Happier Life Project, reminding us that sometimes the greatest lessons in happiness come from the most unexpected places. Do take care. Bye for now.